feel like right now I kind of, like, it's weird. I feel like I am having a little bit of a hard time with it. But I've never been one to, like, struggle with that because I think I've always had just, like, a lot going on with school, sports, like, social life. And I think honestly what it is I've had so much time kind of, like, to think over the last year that I've become used to, like, the comfort of, like, not going out and, like, socializing and stuff.
I see. Do you think is it that you've always kind of maybe moved with friends before when you went to school the first time? Could that be it?
When I went to Georgia for my undergrad, I didn't know anyone there, but I joined a sorority, so it made making friends a lot easier. Which I think has something to do with this transition. Is like there's really no
not having that little base almost. That like worked in support from the beginning.
Yeah, like before I didn't really have to try that hard. I just like kind of, it was already there once I got there.
It was implied, like, okay, we're all friends now.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And I'm assuming that like this new school setting is a little bit more detached, would you say?
Yeah, I think like attached to,
like, in terms of like the group itself, like the students.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the students already like kind of have a sense of community here, which is great. But I think that being so close to home, I'm like, oh well, I could just go home and like hang out with my friends there. And I want to get out of that like almost pattern because it's holding me back from like meeting new people a little bit, because it's so close that I can just be like, oh well, I'm gonna do this and go to my church this weekend, and I'll go to the new church next weekend.
So you're like pushing it off a little bit and using that almost as a crutch.
I think I am using it as a crutch a bit.
And so you do want to kind of more like integrate your life more here.
I do. I think that I need a little bit of separation from Fort Pierce right now because it is a very small town, and it's somewhere that a lot of the young people that live there are kind of not similar to me in a way that, and I don't want to sound like I'm not talking negative about them, but like we're just a different.
You're different kinds of people.
Yeah. And I think that I want to like, I don't want to get stuck in that pattern of people.
So what would it look like to get unstuck? Like, what are some things that that you could do?
Yeah, I think I could start with just like, honestly, just asking someone to hang out and like go get coffee or something, which is like a really easy thing for me to do, but I just have been putting that off. And then also, one thing that I think would help me is like going to a new church and just like kind of getting that foot in the door, and maybe having like a Bible study to go to here so that I could connect with people in a community sense.
Maybe taking it almost one step at a time. I feel like when you say like I don't want to get stuck here and I want to kind of move my life here or reintegrate here, that can be really overwhelming. To think of, okay, I'm just going to leave everything and just dive in. So maybe doing like one thing at a time. Like like, okay, so this week I'm going to ask someone for coffee, or I'm going to find a Bible study and go to. How does that sound?
Yeah, that makes it a lot less daunting, because I think with the transition of school, like leaving home, moving into a new apartment, all of that stuff, it's like everything at once is kind of, I'm like, what do I need to do first? So I feel like I want to like not neglect the friend part, because that's like as much of a priority to me as school. But like I also don't want to put so much pressure on it. Like
you want it to be natural.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
a sense, yeah. But you know, at the same time, it's like you have to also put in that effort because realistically, you know, you're here, someone else is also there.
Yeah.
You know, there are other people who are also, you know, they're moving, they're reintegrating their lives. So I mean, taking that first step could be really helpful.
Yeah.
You know?
And I think that also, like, there are some people, like, that I've grown up with that live here. So I want to, like, make sure that I make my own friends and my own path at the same time. Because, like, as much as that's, like, comfortable and fun and safe, it's, like, easy to just follow that kind of pattern and be like, oh, well, your friends are my friends now. And I kind of want to, like, just have my own sense of autonomy over, like, friendships.
Over friendships.
Yeah.
I think that's important, you know, having a sense of almost control over who is your friend and not just assuming everyone else is.
Yeah,
you know? Yeah, especially if, you know, you're trying to really move away from from that, you know. I think if it's the same group of people but it's here, you know.
Yeah.
So I think that would be really good.
Yeah, I think that just taking, like, that step is gonna be, the first step is gonna be just, like, I don't want to say the hardest part, but, like, I just have to make myself do it, and then once I do it, then I'll be like, okay.
But if it feels like the hardest part, and that's okay too, you know, like, it's a very hard time, I think, to just be doing everything at once.
Yeah.
You know, like, you already are living here. You know, you've moved all of your things, you're around new people.
Yeah.
And I think, in a way, it's okay that you are still relying on your home base. If it's close, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think the important thing is going to be, you know, finding the balance between, okay, I still have my base, but I'm still taking steps to be more comfortable. Could you say that that's what you need to do?
Yeah, that's what my mom said too, because we were talking about, like, I was, like, telling her just, you know, I want to be able to, like, not come home as much and, like, maybe just create a little more distance to help myself, like, transition better. And she was, like, in agreement, but she was also just saying, you know, it's, like, one step at a time. Don't put so much pressure on, like, doing it all at once.
And I think when you say, like, put space, like, do you think you need to put space between you and your family to be able to do this, or do you think maybe you just need to find a balance, or do you think you need that to kind of get there?
I don't think I need space from them. I just think that, like, I think that it can become so comfortable because, like, my family is a very connected, like, it's just, like, very comfortable and full of love and, like, amazing. And I think that it's easy for me to be like, oh, like, I could just go and have a nice cooked meal and, like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that, but, like, it's also just like, okay, well, I need to go and, like, meet people and I don't know, just, I've never, like, college, sorry, I'm jumping around.
No, it's okay. I was thinking is, you know, maybe something that you could do instead of viewing the time that you're spending with your family as taking away from you meeting other people here, you can see it as, or you can almost kind of start to see it as, like, okay, this is my time with my family. And then all of this other time I'm going to dedicate it to meeting new people or expanding myself in that way. So, you know, like, if during the week, you know, you're taking steps to go to a Bible study and go to coffee or study with someone, that is the time that you're dedicating to integrating your life here. You know, and then maybe, okay, over the weekend, it's Sunday, Saturday, I want to see my family, I want to go to church with them, have a meal. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
That's a really great way to look at it, because I think I have been thinking, like, oh, I'm I'm neglecting making friends right now because I keep coming home on the weekend, but I think it's okay also to like have that time dedicated to my family
100%.
and, you know, not like needing to separate myself
The
almost.
presence of one does not like indicate the absence of the
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
You know, like I mean, this is something that is going to be the rest of your life. You know,
Yeah.
you have your family,
Mm-hmm.
and you can also have friends, and there is so much time for both, you know?
Yeah, and I think that it's funny, I'm just realizing like all of the people that I went to school with in undergrad kind of like graduate from college and go to cities apart from like where their family is from.
Yeah.
And like although they're like connected to their family, I think that it's like the normal thing to do is leave home and like be on your own kind of. And I think that I've been like kind of looking at that like that's the right thing. I'm like, oh, everybody else is doing that. So
but your needs are different than
yeah,
everybody else's.
right.
And your family is different. You know? Some people need to be away from their family and they think that's what's best for them. But I think if for you, you know, you really feel like, oh, having my family is something that you really, it just feeds you.
Yeah.
You know, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
Like, you know, and you have to also, I feel like you don't want to let, you know, your want for friends also impact how you view your family time.
Right.
You know?
And that's like.
Does that happen, do you think?
I think that, I don't know. I feel like I have so much fun with my family. Like I have a bunch of siblings and like nephews and nieces, and it's just like fun. Like they are my friends.
Yeah.
So I think that like, I don't know, just when I hang out with them, I'm like, yeah, I do need to, sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I need to find like a relationship and have a family of my own one day, so how am I gonna like meet someone if I'm constantly with my family? But then also, like, I don't know, I think that it's just like the season of life that I'm in right now, and I've gotten accustomed to like this being the season.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like, you know, step out of my comfort zone a little bit more so that I can like kind of just walk in the next phase of like God's plan for me, if that makes sense.
Yeah. So I think something that maybe we can really try to do, right, is really set up your time in a way where it's like, okay, during the week, you know, Monday to Friday, I am dedicating time to school and to creating relationships and friendships and really digging into that, you know, and then you can really just allow yourself like on the weekends, like this is the time that I get to go home and be with my family.
Yeah.
You know, and the weekends do not have, you know, I feel like it's very weekends are for fun. It's like sometimes it's different, it's backwards.
Yeah.
And that's okay too, you know. So maybe that shift will kind of help you feel like you're still progressing, but you still have, you know, that comfort.
Yeah, that makes me feel a lot better. Thank you. I feel like it's like can be difficult to put that expectation almost has been on me of just like, well, the weekends are for fun and like the weekends I should be with friends or doing this and that, and it's like okay to have that time dedicated to something else, and like it's not necessarily a bad thing to be like reliant on my family as a outlet of just like love and fun and friendship.
Because that's what they're for.
Yeah.
You know, I think at the end of the day, it's a great thing that you have a loving, fun family.
Yeah.
You know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It's actually probably what's going to help you through this transition most.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like turning away from that.
Yeah.
You know? It's almost better to purposely make the space for it. That way, when you step away from there, you also have an intention for that time. You know?
Yeah, and it's pouring into me, not. Yeah, because I think that sometimes it's like, just like more of this pressure to be independent, and like, I think that I've associated like me living with my family after college as like kind of a negative thing.
Mm-hmm.
And for me,